This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
We got tons of questions, Jim. Well, there's no way we'll get to them all, but I do want to hit a few here. Right. Holden wants to know if WrestleMania 14 had been Shawn's last match, what's his legacy? Without the redemption run starting in 2002, how would he be remembered?
A beacon of controversy that arguably was as good as anybody ever, bell to bell. If Flair's won, Shawn's 1A, or vice versa. You can never take away his attitude. That should not affect how we look back at him as a wrestler, because bell to bell, he was extraordinary.
Here's another interesting question. Juan wants to know, Shawn and Taker had great chemistry in the ring, but both have said they never really got along. I've heard Taker talk about the match where Shawn got injured. Actually, he says, I've never heard Taker talk about the match where Shawn got injured. Did anyone blame Taker for the injury? How was the backstage vibe after the news broke that Shawn needed to leave because of the injury?
Part of doing business. Nobody blamed Taker.
Right.
You know, it was a bump. It was a Shawn's bump. You know, Taker didn't make him do what he did. It's just fiction, folks. It's a stunt show in a lot of ways. So Taker gave Shawn the bump, but Shawn took the bump. That's the whole deal. You know, you kind of just lead them to water and drink a little bit if you can. But nobody ever blamed Taker that I recall. And Taker's issue was going to be if Shawn had not done business in WrestleMania in Boston with Austin. Undertaker, I was told, because I was calling the match, was sitting there waiting for both guys to come through the curtain. So he was kind of the caretaker. And that's why I used to call Undertaker the conscience of WWE, and very few got it. But he really was. He was the keeper of the gate, so to speak. Tenure. He was goddamn Clint Eastwood, man. So I don't know if they seem to get along. You know, I told the story one time about, I'm not going to tell it again, but after WrestleMania 26 in Phoenix, they had that encampment outside the hotel with all the tour buses, and it made a big circle. Then had a bonfire and a bunch of Jack Daniels and beer. And I sat there with Shawn, and because I was supposed to call that match, and it was deemed by the medical experts in the WWE front office that I couldn't do it. I was flown out there and brought all my stuff. Jan got all of her stuff. She was all gorgeous as always. And then they pulled the plug on me the night before the show. Well, we just don't think you're up to it. Okay, fuck you. I'm up to that. But I saw that night they got along pretty decent. I just think there was a period of time where Shawn was so polarizing, Conrad. He was hard to like. And at times, I don't think he wanted you to like him. I think he liked to mire in his misery until he saw a different way of looking at things and life in general.
Obviously, it's bad news for Shawn. He's going to be away for 4 years. But isn't that back bump like the best thing that ever happened for Hunter's career? I mean, at the time, he's positioned as like Shawn's little buddy. Of course, the day after WrestleMania, Hunter becomes the new leader of DX, brings out Sean Waltman, and DX goes on to much greater heights without Shawn, and Hunter is the leader. I don't know that that's possible if Shawn doesn't go away for a bit. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Gave Hunter the spotlight.
Right.
And, you form these factions or these brotherhoods in the hopes that one of the brothers will spin out and become a star on their own. The same when we did the Nation of Domination. We were hoping to get at least 2 stars you roll out of that, and all that came to pass. Of course, one of those guys was The Rock, and that kind of raises the bar. But Hunter losing or not being in Shawn's shadow, Hunter was looked at Shawn's heater, his muscular sidekick. So he had a reoccurring role in a supporting cast type thing. So I think you're right. It's a good point. I think that It expedited Hunter's growth because now all of a sudden he's the leader of this group, and the group that he's leading just happened to get over and did real well. All those guys started making 7 figures a year, and that was a pretty cool deal for that era. And so I think it's good. That's a good point, Connie.
Stuart wants to know, you've said in the past that Vince somewhat saw Shawn as a son type figure at times. What other wrestlers did he have a similar relationship with, if any?
Oh, there were probably others. He was close to a lot of guys. I don't think he had that father-son type thing or uncle-nephew deal like he had with, Shawn in my run there. I know he was very close to Austin for a good while. Taker, of course, still this very day. So the ones you would think that Vince was close to is going to be accurate. But Shawn's relationship with the old man, in my opinion, was a little bit different than it was a lot of the other talents. Bruce could address that as well at some point in time if he hasn't already. That it was just a very unique bond that they had. And, but I don't see anybody else that ever was there that Vince felt as strongly about and tolerated as much. Vince has said to me, I don't know how much longer I can do this. He's driving me crazy. He's just dedicated. He was loyal to Shawn, and he saw that Shawn could help the company in a big, big way if we just got his head right. So it wasn't, like I said earlier, it wasn't all about his back. That's a big enough issue. But his attitude and his mental frame of mind was to me, the biggest element and detriment to his career at that point in time.
And this was a fun episode. Talking about Shawn Michaels in 97 is one of my favorite topics. I'm glad we got to do it. And special shout out to Geico, our presenting sponsor here. This is a very special bonus show that brought to you exclusively by Geico. Without their help, it wouldn't have happened. So if you enjoy the show, that is the best way to support us. Just get a quick quote, and why not save yourself some money? Support your favorite podcast and save some cash. Come on. How do you lose with that? Go to geico.com. Don't forget to check the archives. We just dropped the China bonus episode, and coming up tomorrow, believe it or not, another Grilling JR, this time covering Starrcade 1990. Yes, that is the Black Scorpion match. Next week, we'll be back. Next week, we'll be back for Ask JR Anything. And Jim, we're right here with the holidays. You want to send us off with some Merry Christmas or Happy New Year greetings?
Well, I'd like to sing a song, Conrad, quite frankly.
Please do.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to punish anybody with my singing. Understand, never lose sight of what Christmas is about. No matter your religious preferences or whatever it may be, it's a Christmas. It's like the song says, Christmas is for children. There's always a way to make a child's life a little bit better. And especially here at Christmas. It might be a text message. It might be a phone call. It might be in the form of a gift. Because we're all limited on how we can travel and who we can see. I've got my Christmas all planned. It's going to be here at home. I'm here in Jacksonville Beach. It's going to be cool that day. It's going to be in the mid 40s at Christmas time. Can you believe that shit? So, but I'm good. I got memories. I got a phone that works. I can text, I can Zoom, I can do all these things. So have a good day, and don't let anybody create a different mindset for you. I think like this show with Shawn, we kept looking for when is Shawn going to have his good day? When is he going to get over his apprehensions or his concerns or his perceived issues? And we finally got to that. It took a while, but it was a major issue. And so I'm glad that we got through that with Shawn. I hope that everybody has a great Christmas. I know that Conrad, you're going to have a big crew down there at your place. And I wish I could join you, but it's just a little too far to drive, and I'm just not ready to fly right now, if anybody's wondering. So it's all good stuff. But enjoy Christmas, for God's sakes. We've had a hell of a year. Conrad and I have had a great year business-wise, and we're very blessed, and we're very thankful. But man, oh man, this whole year has been crazy. I haven't seen my home in Oklahoma since October. I missed every Oklahoma football game, and I hadn't done that since the early 70s. My life changed big time. Poor me. But I got a great partner in Shawn and Conrad. You know, I love working for Tony Khan. Best job I've ever had, broadcasting. So, you know, I got two great guys I work with that I'm blessed to be a part of. So, and I'm going to count my blessings on Christmas. The next year, I'm going to put up a tree. You got a tree, Conrad?
I got 3 trees.
Oh, shit.
Got one upstairs, got one downstairs, and the wife put a little tiny one in the dining room, I guess, for our Christmas Eve dinner. But it's like, you know, it's the Lord Littlebrook of Christmas trees.
I may do that next year. So in any event, folks, enjoy Christmas. Gosh almighty, we've endured this crazy ass 2020. You know, be careful of the COVID. It's real. It's damn real. And take care of yourselves and take care of each other and enjoy the day. I'm going to eat Conrad and watch a little TV. I may binge watch. I binge watched the first 3 seasons of Yellowstone. Are you a Yellowstone guy?
I am not.
Couldn't recommend it any higher. It reminds me, it's got elements of The Sopranos. Were you a Sopranos guy?
I was.
It's got some elements of that in it. Great character development, reality-based to the degree that you can believe, and it's in a unique setting. And Kevin Costner has a great cast, and it's really it's a ball buster of a show. So in any event, but nonetheless, I'm digressing because I don't want you to hang up. I don't want to leave.
Well, listen, we're going to be back at you before you know it. We're going to be back on New Year's Eve doing an Ask JR Anything. And listen, boys and girls, JR wants to talk about anything. You heard him. He wants to talk about the Sopranos. He wants to talk about Christmas. He wants to talk about Yellowstone. What he got doesn't just have to be wrestling related.
All right.
If you've got a question for JR, go ask it right now on Twitter. It's at JR Grilling. That's at JR Grilling. And we'll see you back here just in time for New Year's Eve. He is at JR's BBQ. I am at Hey, it's Conrad. And we are out of time. And we hope you have a fantastic Christmas. And we'll see you before the end of the year right here on Grilling JR with the voice of wrestling, Mr. Jim Ross.
And a little heavy on the mister, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.